For somebody to perform an act of murder, I believe that not only, like, to some degree, they should receive the death penalty, but then at some the crime, or like it depends on the murder.
Okay. Going back to your option B, you circled here, you said you would have a difficult time voting against it, regardless of what the instructions were in the case. If you are given instructions, are you going to follow those instructions, or do you think your view on it would impair your ability to follow the instructions? If the instructions guilt or innocence based on evidence, if then you are required to consider punishment in this case, and you're given specific instructions about how to do that, including options that may or may not result in the death penalty being imposed, will you follow those instructions?
Yes.
Okay, that will conclude the court's voir dire of this juror on that topic. I'll ask the state if they have any voir dire.
Thank you, Your Honor. So when the judge asked you about whether or not you would impose the death penalty in every murder, I believe you said it depends on the murder. Is that right?
Correct.
And by that, did you mean that you would consider the facts of an individual case before you decided whether you think the death penalty is appropriate?
100%.
So you would consider evidence that was perhaps presented in mitigation or in favor of the defendant not getting the death penalty. You would consider evidence like that before you made a decision.
Yes.
And you would weigh that evidence, and you would weigh any evidence presented by the state to decide whether or not you would impose the death penalty.
Correct.
You would not necessarily impose the death penalty in every case. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
I have no additional questions.
All right, thank you, Mr. Eady. Mr. Pryor, you can inquire.
Ma'am, I'm just trying to clarify.
Can you have your microphone on?
Do now.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. I'm just trying to clarify some things, if you don't mind. Is it your position that at the present time, if there's a murder involved, your starting position is, listen, I'm going to impose the death penalty, but I'm going to look into all of the evidence before I make that decision? So in other words, is it your starting position that, all right, and I'm not trying to imply whether Chad did this or not, defense attorney to show that Mr. Daybell or anybody else who's convicted of murder should not get the death penalty? Is that what you're suggesting?
Correct.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. All right, thank you, ma'am. And Judge, I'm going to move for cause again.
All right, there's been a motion to strike based on those responses. What's the state's response?
Your Honor, this juror has indicated that she leans toward the death penalty, just as other jurors have indicated that they lean against the death penalty. However, she's also clearly indicated that she would follow instructions given by the court. And thus, I believe that it would not